Alright, we're going to be installing this Murray 431343 in from O'Reilly's, about $200. We're going to be putting it into this old Suburban, as you can see from this video. This is what happens when your radiator has said it's time to go. That it's got a leak. So, let's see. Looks like we're going to start off this upper shroud to begin with. So we're going to undo my battery lines. First, we'll undo the negative on either battery, and then undo this battery line and remove this top cover. Probably be followed by the fan and the fan clutch, and we'll see what's after that. This upper hose is pretty easy to get to. That'll obviously have to come off. All these little ones right here can be pretty easy to get off. It just depends on what's on the lower end, and we'll see once we remove some stuff. All right. So after this fan shroud is out, remember it's all just 10s. Remember there's 2 10s on each side down there, right? After that, you're gonna have to pull the fan out, and on this particular 6.5, it's still a bolt-on fan, so it's 4 13s, and just use a ratcheting wrench and grab those. And remember, you got to have the belt still on. The belt doesn't need to come off for a radiator job, but you got to have the belt on to undo those nuts right there, or else this is just gonna, that pulley is just gonna spin. So 13, and grab those off, and then lift the fan completely out. So the last thing to taking this out was this piece right here, and that was holding it. So there's 2 of those on both sides. Now I got that out over there. This thing, so this is the back side towards the engine. Not terrible. If you look at the front side, got definitely plenty of places right about here that are clogged with stuff, and the leak actually is somewhere right in here. So, so here's one thing to consider. The proper way to do this is to remove the lower fan shroud, and as you can see, there's just a couple screws that you got to get from underneath. Looks like just 2 actually. To do that is a million times better to reset the hoses and the things down low, especially that lower hose. If you've got the proper a spring clamp, highly recommend keeping a spring clamp at the bottom. These clamps are just not that strong, and over time with heat cycles they can loosen. I have had to tighten this a couple times myself, just to stop leaking from that lower hose. So, but by using this, I do not have to take out the shroud, and I just have a really long flathead right here that I stuck down there, and I went, I got it loose and pulled the hose off. And almost for sure with this fan shroud on, I would have, in a proper clip and a factory clip, I would have needed to take the lower shroud out. But once this is out, clean up all the dirt you see right there. Take note of your AC condenser, how dirty that is. Keep in mind, if the front of your radiator is dirty and it's behind this, you can rest assured that the front of that probably should be replaced as well, but that is not something I am doing right now. So here, just putting the radiator on. All this dirt and grime, there was a lot of it when I first got it apart, and I've been wiping it up with a rag. I'll clean it up as best I can before I put this back together, and then I'll start with the bottom, the main hose, and work my way up with the trans lines, and then do the coolant hoses last on that side. And so let's finish cleaning everything up. This is back on, and these clamps, they go in over there's a little groove that on these radiators they clearly go over. We got this one back on. This is why I was saying that you want this clamp. So I don't know if you can see down there, but this hose, see how loose that is over the new fitting? So to make that watertight with temperature swings, this has to be crazy hard, or any kind of worm gear clamp, compared to this one that just self-tightens. So this is definitely the one you want, but I think you can only buy this from GM. Don't think you can get this kind at the auto store. If you can get that one, give it a shot. For right now, it looks like I'm going to have to put this one back on. And but everything else looks like it's going in just fine. It should help cooling quite a bit. Okay, so I've got the fan back in. Remember, on this one it's a bolt, 4-bolt. So basically, you need this under tension to tighten those, but to spin it, just take your 3/8 and loosen it, and then you spin it around each one, so you can tighten them all with ease near the top. You know, one of the top two to the right, probably the easiest to tighten. So get the other ones in those position. Just crank this a little bit so this gets loose, and then you can spin the fan and the whole thing goes. And then here we're pretty much ready. Look at this. This is O'Reilly's. They actually, everything's great. For whatever reason, this the feeder to the overflow tank is actually the wrong size inlet for the radiator. So I'm going to have to go buy some kind of adapter to fit this one into that one, because obviously that's no good. So this is that O'Reilly's one, which otherwise everything fits just fine. But yeah, I'm just gonna put this shroud back on, and I'm not gonna film that. It's just, next up is this shroud, and then we'll be pretty much done here. I'm not gonna film this part because it's probably the easiest part of the whole thing, taking off that upper shroud. I will need to plug the batteries back in after this, and then the big thing is go to the store and find an adapter, which you should not have to do this. This is Murray. Who's ever designing their Murray needs to, hey, hopefully you see this and say, make that bigger. That's not correct for a 96, which is what O'Reilly's gave me. So when you don't order direct from GM, you always get stuff like little things like that going on. And I can fix it, you know, that's not a problem, just a little adapter. But everything else is good. Check your fan clutch. You know, there should be plenty of resistance here when you're doing that, which mine has. And everything else is tight, so we should be good to go here for the near future. I got plenty of other. Well, there it is, back together. Definitely something in half a day at most. By lunchtime, if you start in the morning, by dinner if you start after lunch. Even if it's your first time, it really shouldn't take you too long. So pretty easy thing to do, and obviously something this old is gonna need it if you know it hasn't been done. So thanks for watching.